How's it going, everybody? So I want to talk today about the show Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story that has Evan Peters, and it's currently on Netflix. It's been a huge talk of the town for about a month now, even a little over that, and it's caused quite some controversy just because, why wouldn't it? It is based on the true story of Jeffrey Dahmer, which is a very sad and really scary and uncomfortable story for most people, and why wouldn't it be? It's a very traumatizing and very unfortunate and tragic story. So I want to actually do this review from two different points of views. I want to review it just first on the creative standpoint, just it being a series, a show, for entertainment value, kind of what the show's intention was. And then I also want to talk about just the other part of it, which is the true story, the nature of this, and a little bit about, that. So the first thing I want to mention is Evan Peters did a fantastic job just in terms of an acting performance. The man never flinched once. I don't know. He's very... he knows how to hold his ground so well that it is just so unnerving. It is eerie, everything he says or does as this person, which is unfortunate because on some level you're trying to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer a little bit. You're trying to understand why he is the way that he is. And when you see the show, you realize, he didn't exactly have the best upbringing, and basically absent parents, both of them, even though they were there, they weren't really there. And, didn't have a lot of friends, was very misguided. Wasn't really loved or cared for. So we understand early on that, this is where it all begins, and then the other thing is that Evan Peters just knows how to get under your skin because, I don't know, he's just that terrific of an actor, I guess, but it was really spooky. The other thing I want to mention is I thought the acting just all across the board, Richard Jenkins, Niecy Nash, especially Niecy Nash. I thought, just learning about her character, Glenda, this woman that I didn't know actually existed, who was a part of this from the very beginning and tried to, stop this early on. Oh, does this grind your gears quite a bit when you find out the truth of just some of the police officers involved in this crime? I don't know. This series does do a great job at pointing out certain things that maybe you didn't know the full story to, and I'm really happy they do that. It's important for a show like this to spread the awareness, the red flags of, people that are suffering very severely from some sort of mental health issue and struggle, but then also pointing out the facts of things that were hidden and we were not really aware of, or at least I wasn't until I watched the show, including the police officers and including Glenda. I just figured, there was I knew there was injustice, but not to this extent. So watching the show, you are going to be feeling a mixture of emotions. You're going to be pissed. You're going to feel a little satisfaction in terms of when he actually does get caught and all this other stuff. But, you just feel so much pain for the family members of all these victims. Oh, it is so gut-wrenching to sit through. However, that's just one end of it. The other part I wanted to tackle is just, the accuracy of the show. I understand that a series, when you're doing kind of like a true story, you're never going to get everything correct. We can't always know what was being said behind closed doors. Personal stories, personal shares, conversations that were being said, it is going to get fictionalized to some degree. There is a moment in the series which is very specific. I'll just be very brief, but it just really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's a moment after everything's already been revealed. Lionel Dahmer, Jeffrey's father, played by the incredible Richard Jenkins, he's sitting at a cafe with his new wife, and they're talking about the success of his book. So he wrote a book that came out shortly after all of this, kind of help spread awareness of, your kids and just I guess the intention of the book was to, promote the red flags that maybe you didn't notice in your own children, which I think is a great book to write, However, in this particular moment, they're celebrating. They're so joyous. The book's doing well. And in some cases, it's good to be happy that it's doing well because it means your message is getting across. However, they're celebrating in a laughing way. The book has actually been optioned for a movie. And there was just something about that moment that really just irked me because I'm thinking, let's not forget why that book was published in the first place. For all the malicious, wrongdoing, sadistic, sad, tragic events that took place for that book to be written. Let's not celebrate it in a happy way. Anyway, that was a very specific, like I said, nitpicky moment, but I just had to get my thoughts out on that. Anyway, I do think Dahmer, though, as a series, there are a lot of things that work about it in terms of just its eeriness. As a show, it is creepy. It gets under your skin. And because of this wonderful acting that's just all across the board, you are able to just go along with the story and just be with these people. Now, the thing that I understand might be very difficult for the family members, because this is now like the 15th adaptation that we've seen, something around there, with Jeffrey Dahmer, whether it's been a documentary, a TV movie, whatever. This is yet another reminder of the horrific events that took place. So I can only imagine what the family members must be going through when they hear this all being addressed and announced again, especially when apparently or allegedly that they were never even asked about this prior to the show being made. So in terms of how, fictionalized it is, I have to just let it be. I have to take it for what it is. There are moments like specifically with Tony Hughes, one of the victims who is deaf. We really do feel like there's this really special bond between he and Jeffrey Dahmer for a little bit, and you almost feel for them in a way. A part of me wants to know if that was actually accurate, if there was this little romance involved, if he was actually kind of invested in him in that way. But I guess it doesn't really matter in the end because unfortunately Tony Hughes lost his life. And going back to what I said, when you're trying to humanize Jeffrey Dahmer, you're trying to understand, you see that he has never been loved or cared for. And in some ways, maybe that's what he was trying to find with these people. But again, this does not excuse that kind of behavior. But it might explain a little bit more of where he came from and why he kind of ultimately ended up on the path that he did and how he just was unstoppable. It's very sad. It's very unfortunate. My heart goes out to the entire, all the family members of these victims, because I can't imagine what they must be going through when they see this all resurfacing. As a series, though, I do think there are some noteworthy things to check out. Again, Evan Peters and the rest of the cast do a great job at least trying to recreate what happened so we are aware, make you feel that uncomfortable feeling that you're supposed to, because this is not a comfortable story to sit through. But I do recommend that you watch it just for your own curiosity and so you can obtain new information about this if you haven't already. So other than that, just take it for what it is and just know that, I just be very careful, I guess, on who you trust and who you meet. Strangers might be friendly and nice at first, but the show kind of proves that there could be more to it.